tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting to be profiled are performer-producer Dan Guerrero and musician-songwriter Saro Koujakian. Dan Guerrero was born in Tucson, Arizona, but raised in Los Angeles, where he formed a career in New York after attending East LA College. Dan has a lot of talents. He's a dancer, singer, actor, talent scout, agent, casting director, writer, producer. Did I leave anything out?
No wonder I'm so exhausted.
Exactly. Did I cover it all?
I don't know. I lost track after the fourth career.
I'm going to let you take us through the list, because I think each one of those things that I mentioned has one little primary highlight to it, and you use those things in your show, Gaetino,
right.
at the Kirk Douglas Theater.
Correct.
So if I take you through, I think it'll kind of like almost take us through the show, and then we'll talk about the show.
I can do a tab version. What about 5 minutes? All right. Actually, I grew up in East LA, but knowing that there was a bigger world out there. And then I moved to New York right after East LA College to pursue a career in musicals. I did do a lot of musicals in New York.
But you went to dance school?
Yeah, but you know what? I was not really I didn't have the discipline to be a dancer. I couldn't take those hours, and I couldn't take, so I become, as they say, a singer mover.
A mover, yes, that's what you said,
yeah. Singer mover. And so I did that for quite a few years. Nothing that would set the world on fire, but I had a good time. And then I became a theatrical agent in the years from A Chorus Line to Cats. That was about 12 years.
That was your, okay, so yeah. you cast those.
No, an agent,
you
meaning you represent the actors. So, for instance, half of the original cast of A Chorus Line were clients of mine.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then what would you do with them? Put them in different shows?
Correct.
Oh,
you know,
I see.
and so the agent works with the casting. The casting director gets hired by the producer.
I see.
He says, I need this, I need that, then hopefully your clients fill that.
And then, so that was a 12-year?
12, 14 years I was an agent until I
Were
was
you
going to kill
acting
myself.
then?
No. I left that completely. I left that completely to be
You
an
weren't
agent.
singing? You weren't doing anything?
No, I was behind a desk yelling for more money for actors.
What about a casting director?
That was later.
That was
when
still
I came
later?
back, yeah.
Okay.
When I came back to, now try and stay with me here because it gets very complicated.
Take me through the agent again. What did you do with those people? They would stay in Cats for what, 2 or 3 months?
Yeah,
or 6 months?
then there'd be another Broadway show and they'd want to audition for that, and then
I
hopefully
see.
they'd get
So that's
that.
what you were doing?
Correctly. Correct. So I was an agent for all those
And who
years
were you
and finding
dealing-
new talent, finding new talent.
Who were you dealing with? What stars did you have at that time?
Interesting people. I had, I wouldn't have the star of the Broadway musical, but I'd have the good second lead, the featured, good working actors.
The supporting people.
Yes. Some people that I represented did go on to big things. Sarah Jessica Parker was 9 years old.
Tell us about that. I
Oh,
love
she
that
was great.
story.
Well, you know what? You know why her story's inspiring? Because here was a child. She was 9 years old. And she would sit at my desk and read Variety. She was so focused, which is the big thing.
Can you imagine?
I mean, when you know what I'm 9 years old. She did not have a stage mother.
I was going to ask you that.
It was the mother who said to me, what could I do? They came from Ohio. Sarah wanted to come to New York. I mean, that child was leading the family in what she wanted at 9. So I'm not at all surprised by her huge success. She was a smart little girl.
So then what did you do?
Then, by that time, I had lived in New York for 20 years. And
That's
I decided,
amazing.
yeah, it was the best. And the best time. We're talking the 60s and 70s.
I thought the 80s were the best time.
Oh, no, it was falling apart by the 80s. No.
That's when I was having such a good time.
Oh, but the 60s? I mean, the Peppermint Lounge, the Twist. Come on, what could be better?
And you were there. You know, when you sing on stage, or when you talk about being a singer, you were a singer mover.
Right.
Singer mover. Your voice I knew had to come from somewhere. It came from Lalo Guerrero.
My dad, yeah. I should have his pipes. Yeah, my dad. So I grew up with that. My dad, who was known, as you know, as the father of Chicano music, had a long career, started recording in Spanish in the late 30s, and did his last recording session with Ry Cooder in 2002, I guess, for Chavez Ravine album.
That is so incredible,
Yeah.
isn't it? That he had such a long,
Oh.
and that Ry found him. I think
Yeah.
Ry is so cool to find him, because he
Ry
went.
is the coolest guy ever. Yeah,
Ry
Cooder.
knows what to do,
Yeah,
right? He went
yeah,
to Cuba
yeah.
and found all those
Went to the social
musicians.
club,
Yeah.
Well, he says, well,
But he had your father first.
he went to my dad first for the Chavez Ravine, because he thought, if I can get Lalo, then everybody else will follow. And that's what,
Oh, is that
did that
what-
rhyme? Lalo
Yes.
follow? And yeah, that's how it happened, yeah.
But Lalo was at the White House.
Many times. He
Oh,
was a
many
favorite for a while.
times.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
With
I
what
think-
presidents?
I think it was Carter, I believe Reagan, and then Clinton.
And he got his big
The
award.
National Medal of Arts, which is our nation's highest arts award. He was the first Chicano ever to get one.
Did you know that you were living in the?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
actually, I had
the
a-
shadow of brilliance.
No, that's why I left for New York. I'm like, I ain't living in no shadow. That's why I left. I smelled it. I said, no, this is not going to work for me, you know? So, I mean, I was proud of him, but I knew that I had to find my own way, and I wasn't going to be able to do it here in LA. That's why I moved to New York, too.
Oh.
That's why.
But you had a good relationship.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And your mommy,
She was great.
Mijo.
I lost my mom just 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
had
love
to
when you say how she talks
Yeah.
to you.
Mijo. You know, because Latina mothers are very dramatic. You know, everything is like, oh, ay, pero corazón. No, you can't do that. You know, when I said I'm moving to New York, they kill people in the subways. I mean, oh no.
So let's get to your show. Well,
Gaytino.
actually,
It's called Gaytino.
I know. I love that. I think if that doesn't pull people into the theater, I don't know what would.
Or scare some away.
Oh, maybe.
But
Pulled me
it's
in.
been working in our favor thus far. You know.
So you were a producer.
Yes, I've been producing
before
for the last 14 years. I've
Oh,
been
so
producing.
you had like two separate. You had like really long careers.
Long careers, yeah. So it's not that I dabbled 2 minutes. I mean, really, I'm 127 years old.
That's
so
right.
Each career was lengthy. And actually, I started to write this quite by accident.
But you didn't produce this, Gaytino. It came on kind of like what? Right at the end of your producing, or are you still
No,
producing?
I'm still
or
producing. In
Oh,
fact,
you
I'm
are?
producing something for the LA Opera in the fall. I just came from the meeting, as a matter of fact. Now I'm wearing my Gaytino hat. I took off my producer hat. No, I will
see.
continue to produce.
But then, how were you able to write it?
It wasn't easy. The truth is, I had this little quiet time in my producing career, and I started to think, in this country where everything is so youth-oriented, in this business, and they want a 20-year-old producer, what else? I know, I'll fall back on something steady, like acting. And then I
Yeah,
thought,
right.
yeah. But then I thought, I'm not going to be waiting for some audition, and everybody was doing a solo show, and then I kept looking at the gay community and the Latino community, certain similarities, certain, both have come a long way, both have a long way to go, and I came up with the term Gaytino. And I trademarked it, and then I started to write the show.
Oh, you did that first.
Yes.
How much? I mean, I bet that was pages and pages and pages that you wrote, and you had to edit it down. How much
Yeah.
editing did you have to do, and how hard was
Quite
it?
a bit, especially because I had never written a play. I had written celebrity profiles. I used to write entertainment columns, but to write a play, but I'm a storyteller. I'm a storyteller. And many of these stories I had told for years.
Yes, but we love our stories.
Correct.
And we don't want anything to be cut out. That's why I
know.
wonder how you got it pared down to include everything. Well, you didn't include everything.
No, there's
But to
5 more
me-
Gaytinos there, yeah.
But
Well,
to
what it
me,
was is I would write a story as I have told them at cocktail parties, and it was a page. And then I cut it down to a half a page. Then I cut
see.
it down to 5 sentences. Because really, you get to the core and the meat, you can do it in,
You
in
just
a very
keep
short
editing
time.
the
Correct.
words and the
Correct.
ideas.
Correct.
But then did you keep all the ideas? Because you
Yes.
start in elementary school.
Yeah, I mean, it starts in East LA in the late 40s and goes through the 50s. Then we go through New York through the 60s and 70s. I had to put a 12-year career as an agent into 4 stories, you know,
Yeah.
2 pages. And
You had to talk about coming out. You had to
That's
talk
right.
about the disco sluts.
That's right, the disco slut period. Yeah, did you like that?
I liked that.
Yeah, disco slut.
The other one that I really loved was your out-of-body experiences.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
was that like what theatrical way of talking about
Well,
something?
actually, they really were out-of-body experiences.
really were?
Yeah. You know, I think we all have them, where something is happening and it's such a moment of epiphany, or that you literally leave your body and go, oh my God, I can't believe that's happening. And the first one was when I've been with my partner for 26 years, and the scene when we first go out to that dinner and I have that out-of-body experience. When I'm no longer the cutie on this side of the table, I'm the old codger taking out the charge card, you know, and there is that moment.
And we all go through that.
Yes, I'm
no
saying
matter if you're gay or
Correct.
not gay.
Correct. You know, it's like when you become the parent to your parent.
Exactly.
You know, it's those shifts. And so then in the Cesar Chavez funeral thing, I did use that then as a
that's right.
theatrical device, because I thought, okay, I can bookend it from the earlier out-of-body experience and use it there at the end.
Those were so many things, because it was so political, those were so many things in California that we knew about and had heard about.
Yes, yes.
Some of the things that you said, I think you had to be like New York oriented. But the Cesar Chavez and a lot of,
Well,
you
the
talked
thing
about
is-
an artist.
Carlos
that
Almaraz.
shocked me out of my
Carlos
seat.
Almaraz, yeah, my boyhood friend. That's the thing. I really don't think of it as it's autobiographical, but I've known some extraordinary people, not the least of which was my father.
Right.
And then my boyhood friend from age 9 grew up to become the preeminent Chicano artist.
And you call him Charles, so I had
Charles,
no idea. And if I saw it again, I would like start putting
Exactly,
more
that's what I
things.
figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
to-
purposely just say my friend Charles, and he likes our Charles, and until he reclaims the name on his birth certificate, Carlos, when he gets involved with the UFW and the Teatro Campesino, and I'm in New York doing Bye Bye Birdie, you know,
I
it's
know.
like, hello.
Doing your
Yeah.
moves.
Yeah,
He
I'm doing
leaves you
singer
though. He
movie.
moves to New York with you.
We went to New York together
I
in
couldn't believe that.
1962. 2 little Chicanos from East LA in 1962.
What foresight. It's almost like you're like, you know, I always say, how did my grandfather ever think of coming to America? It's the same kind of thing. How could 2 little boys think, I mean, you were 16, 17. How could you think of going 18?
We both, I mean, at 10, 11, 12, we would talk about all the great stuff we were going to do when we left East LA and see the world and know great people. And, you know, this was not it.
And
we
you
just always talked about it.
Isn't that interesting? The other really good thing that I thought was so wonderful is when you said, I'm a born-again Hispanic.
Because I finally do come around after all my Bye Bye Birdie years, and I become very involved with the Latino community and become a born-again Hispanic and fighting for better portrayal of our image in the media, et cetera.
Do you think that that's offensive to be a born-again, or
No,
or do you
I think
just
you're
never-
lucky if you ever get born and then born again. Yeah, no.
Because I think you never changed. I mean, you were always Hispanic. I always feel like to say, oh, she's a born-again Hispanic.
No, you know why? I was always a Chicano, but it was just a part of me. It was not a whole big thing. I was more interested in getting into showbiz. But
Right.
then as I started to see how little had changed for Latinos in all those years, I'm like, and I could see people trying to affect change, I wanted to be a part of that change.
And you helped that when you were producing, I guess.
Yes,
That,
because
more
I
than-
produce only Latino themed.
Is that what happened?
That's correct. I would own because I wanted to celebrate our culture. I wanted people to know our stories. Another big reason for writing this show. People don't know a lot about the Chicano experience or even what a Chicano is. And that's why through stories, because the show is funny.
The show is 1 of 4, which I think the
Fabulous
Center
shows.
Theater Group did a great.
Michael Ritchie, Diane Rodriguez, bless her, who directed my piece. It's called Solomania. There are
Right.
4 extraordinary shows, Jerry Quickly, Roger Smith, Adriana Sevan. And each of us has a completely unique show, and it's really fantastic.
But it's so LA-centric, isn't it? I mean,
yes, but I
because
think
of the
they're
people.
all, but they're all universal themes.
They are universal,
Yeah.
but it's like it's our people. I felt like they were our people
Yes.
here in LA and
True.
what they've done, where
True.
they've gone, and what
True.
they've done.
True.
Well, before we leave, you
What? I don't get another hour?
you were pretty good on stage doing your little what was it?
Singing movie?
Yeah, singing
Yeah, yeah.
movie.
Well, as it says, Gaetino, mariachi to Merman, Sondheim to Cesar Chavez.
Is it-
Because that's been my world. And you get to see it all in an hour, 10 minutes. How bad can it be?
Can you imagine? I think that's so great. Well, I'm so happy to have had you.
Well, thank you very much. I had a great time.
And you live so close to me, we're going to be changing
Right?
Mexican food now.
That's right. You brought me rajas. I am so happy about
Thanks
that.
to Clara who made them.
All right. God bless Clara.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
And don't go away. We'll be right back with Saro Koujakian.
That was so fun.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. I'm with singer-songwriter Saro Koujakian, who was born and raised in Los Angeles. He went to an Armenian high school, Demirjian, then to Moore Park and Valley colleges, and finally he's in school now at Cal State Northridge in the music school. You also went to Melkonian in Cyprus. Why were you there?
Well, well, you know, I was a bit of I guess, a handful from my parents.
Oh!
So they decided, well, you know, my mother decided to ship me out to Cyprus. She said, you know, it'd be a great experience, and you know,
it was
well, at least that's what
beautiful.
she told me. It is. It is a beautiful. It's a beautiful island, and it's a beautiful school, and it's unfortunate that they had to tear it down.
I know. You're lucky you went there and had that experience. I got to see it too.
Oh, yeah.
So I was excited about seeing it. When I went to Cyprus on a trip, on a press trip, and one day was set aside for the Armenian experience. And they took me to Melkonian. They introduced me to people who were in parliament who were Armenian. They took me for Armenian restaurants. They took me to the Mouton bookstore with Ruth Kashishian. So I really experienced Cyprus too.
Right.
That's why I was wondering what you were doing. I didn't see any naughty little Armenian boys though.
Yeah, and I loved it. I'll have those memories for the rest of my life.
When did music become a passion for you?
Music became a passion for me probably when I was about like 6, 7 years old.
Oh, it always has
Yeah,
been.
yeah.
Oh, do you come from a musical family?
You know, it's funny. I don't. My mother's got a beautiful voice. My father, you know, they were. He played dumbek, you know.
Which is?
It's like an Arabic drum, the very common drum that they play at parties, and you know, it's pretty much in any Arabic song. But I mean, you know, as far as anyone being classically trained or you know,
Nobody like that.
Nothing.
No. What instrument did you learn to play besides the dumbek?
Well, the first instrument I learned was the piano. I took piano lessons when I was young, and then my mother bought me a classical guitar. And right when for Christmas, and when I first got it, what I would do is I would sit down in the kitchen and just kind of bang at it and just talk about my life, like just talk about a story. Like, I don't want to go to school today, you know. I don't, you know. And so it became a channel for me to vent. So.
Did you take voice lessons along the way?
I started taking voice lessons about 2 years ago.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Because you have a band, you have a CD,
yes.
Which is, I don't know what the CD is called, Yevo
It's called Yevo Fe.
Yevo Fe? Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Which Yevo Fe is basically the Armenian, it's the O and Fe are the two newest letters in the Armenian alphabet.
Oh,
so basically we're saying like and O Fe. That's what Yev. Yev is Armenian for and. So and O Fe. So
and the two end?
And the two. Well, no,
or
and like.
the end?
And like, let's say and XY. You see what I'm saying? So it's and O, it's Yev O Fe. So.
I should know that. But you're but you know how to speak Armenian and sing. You sing in Armenian.
Yes,
and when did you decide to put this band together? Was this the first band you'd put together?
No. This band has been together for about 2 years. This band started years ago, at my uncle's house and from high school, and but really, I mean, I'm really the only one that stayed throughout all those years. What it's developed,
it's been in and out.
Exactly. What has developed today is really the product of like 2 years ago. It started. So.
But was it always called Element?
No. It started with Soul Inside Body, then it went to Afterthought, and then it went to In Progress, and now it's called Element.
And now, what does Element mean?
Well, I mean, we've named the group Element just simply because we feel that we combined are one. So we are an element in life, you know, and when we're producing these sounds, when we're producing these songs, we're making them as one element. So that's where we got the idea from.
But I've been listening to the CD and I love it, but it's not in Armenian. It's all in Armenian.
Yes.
All the lyrics are in Armenian, but the music isn't Armenian.
It's very.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's funny because we get a lot of comments from both sides about that. You know, people love that, and people, you know, they can't stand that. It upsets them. The way I like to explain it in a couple of interviews before, I'd explain it the same way, is that these songs, these folkloric Armenian songs, are left in that true, like, core nature, which is where it started from in Armenia. And then because of the genocide, because Armenians had to flee from Armenia, the diaspora, I always explain this CD as the product of the diaspora.
Oh,
so
I see.
it's the product of these Armenians that have been influenced by other cultures, Arabic, French, Greek, you know.
Oh, I see. They've been inspired by
Right.
it, or they live in those areas.
They live in those areas.
I see. But you don't use any Armenian.
No.
You use your guitar.
My guitar. We use a steel string guitar, a nylon string guitar, a Latin percussion set, bass, and violin.
And I see an accordion.
And an accordion.
and I see those aren't all Armenian faces.
No, see, Jeremy Milado, he's a Filipino.
And how did he get in your group?
Well, you know, we needed a bass player a couple years back.
And that was it?
And that was it, and he loved it. And now he actually speaks better Armenian than most people.
No, he can understand?
Yeah.
But does he sing on it?
No.
he just plays.
It's me and her. Garşer Beycan, we're the singers.
And where did she come from?
She, born and raised in Los Angeles, went to Ferahian High School, and you know, that's how we met. So.
And the violinist, I think he was influenced by System of a Down.
Yes, a big System of a Down enthusiast, you know.
But did that influence you at all?
I mean, you know, System of a Down definitely. System of a Down showed us, as Armenians, I think, that we can be accepted in the world.
And actually make something.
Exactly.
What's his name?
His name is Shant Maserejian. And Ara Dabanjan, who's basically he's the guy behind all of this. I mean, he's done all the arrangements. He's played most of the instruments that you're hearing, and you know, he was born in Lebanon, raised in Lebanon, and then, you know, moved out to LA. So these Armenian songs are deeply inside of him. You know.
So tell us a little bit. You've been an opening act at the Kodak.
Yes.
You're going to play at the John Anson
Yes,
Ford
we are.
Theater
Yes.
and do a concert, all element?
Yes.
Or are you going to have somebody else in there?
The John Anson Ford Theater is going to be all element.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
And the inspiration for the CD came from what you were talking about, I guess, the diaspora.
Yes.
And you mentioned that they were folk songs. So tell us a little bit about them. Because the thing is, on the inside of this CD, it's all written in Armenian, so I couldn't understand anything.
Right.
I couldn't read it.
Okay.
And if it's translated, then I think it's easier for us
to understand.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the folk song and strum a little bit.
Okay, here, why don't I?
Yeah.
So, well, why don't I start with the song that, you know, we usually play the most. We'll be playing, you know, at the upcoming Armenian Music Awards as well and stuff. So it's called Anush Hayrenik, which means basically beautiful Armenia.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what, so do a couple of sentences in Armenian and then translate it for us.
There goes. So basically I'm saying, you know, from your mountains, let them sprout, and your ground, you know, let it sprout, you know, so as, you know,
Say
give
it in
life.
Armenian without...
Sareret zalgel.
Oh, sorry, that's the trees.
Right. Soreret zalgel, so the earth.
I see.
You know? Zumruch karunki shogeren hakl. So it's like.
But you threw me on that one.
So it's like kind of like you're wearing. I mean, an exact translation would be kind of weird, but it's basically like, you know, I want to lose myself in, you know, in this.
Yeah, that's okay. Go on. You're gonna do another one.
Yeah.
The one I love is Nune, because I can understand what it means.
So Nune is actually a funny song. It sounded nothing like it sounds now before. It was actually a very different sounding song. We put this Greek influence into it.
I noticed that, and it sounds like the oud is playing.
Yes, it is actually. It is, the oud is playing, and
you don't use any other, I mean, you don't use a duduk.
No.
You don't use a dumbag. You
No.
don't use, oud is, I guess, for all that Middle Eastern area.
Right. The dumbek is used a little bit, but we don't use duduk, zurna, none of that.
But or zurna, yeah, karum,
Right.
None of those. The one thing about Nune, was that a folk song too?
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
I've heard people talk about, kidnapping their loved ones. So do that.
Right. So Nune would. Okay, I'll go ahead and do the chorus. Nune, ach Nune. So it's basically saying, Nune, Arin Sire. So Nune, please love me, please love me. That's what he's saying.
Oh, I see.
And then in the beginning of the song it's like, Yegek derek mijar aneng. So it's like, at the beginning of the song, he's singing about how, they kidnapped my Nune and I can never live anymore. I can't. The second verse of the song is saying, come on, guys, come on, friends, let's go get Nune back. We can do it.
We'll kidnap her and bring her
Exactly.
back to
So
you.
it's basically, he's hopelessly in love with this girl, and
I know. I just love that, and I think it's so cute because it's like a lot of the stories that you've heard for a long, long time. Are you good at Armenian cooking?
No, I'm not.
Are you good at Armenian eating?
I'm great at Armenian eating, absolutely. No, I've never been much of a cook, but I do enjoy Armenian food, or what is known today as Armenian food.
and you're from here. Where were your folks from?
My folks were from Lebanon. Both
Oh, so
from
they
Lebanon.
were influenced by the Lebanese cooking and
Yes, yes.
Lebanese, what,
Yeah,
lifestyle?
Lebanese lifestyle, really. I mean, it is. Just like I said, the diaspora, I mean, their grandparents were from Armenia. They came down to Syria, from Syria to Lebanon.
I see.
So, you get like, there's so many Arabic words in our Armenian that it's,
Oh, that's why you have so many Arabic
Yeah,
words. Well, I don't know them, but I'm so glad you came today.
Thank you. I'm glad
you
to be
brought
here.
some real insight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to Saro Koujakian, and thanks to you for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles. Keep writing to 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017. See you next time. Hold this up. That tape slips. I have a CD.